Twitch chat, speculation is over. Grand final of the August Nova Cup is underway. We have Kingdanzz and Widderson on the left. We have Drachir and FC Lucy clap 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 on the right. Let's go.
King starts with a Gatling gun.
Oh, Fiesta
Sure,
on
Fiesta.
Drachir. That
And
is
Drachir.
spicy.
It's a tough Fiesta roll, though.
It is a tough Fiesta roll. He'd probably like to swap with his teammate. Lucy has the pixies.
Although Lucy does have Nightmare Butcher. With the Oathbreaker, Lucy has an insane roll.
Lucy's roll is fantastic. It really is fantastic.
Yeah.
He has
And has a
everything,
great
right?
answer. Yeah, it has a great answer to 11 and 15, which are the classic.
And the cartel opener for Nightmare is so good.
Yeah, 5 workers, right?
Yeah.
Let's see, Widderson probably has an insane Poda roll. Yep, there he goes. Playing boars with Poda, always very difficult, but Widderson is actually the one who invented the tech for boars on the right split. So I suspect he will do just fine with that.
Oh, he skillfully rolled the mask with his priestess. Yeah, that's obviously the perfect combo. The mask and the priestess just cover each other perfectly for the first 7 or 8 waves, right?
Yeah.
And
You just
sure
gotta have something.
will start the gate guard.
You just gotta have something decent for 9, and he has the walk and an alpha is. An alpha tanking on 9 for the priestess is just so good.
Drachir is going for the gate guard start. He would probably have liked to see a snail, but to be honest, I think it's fine. You don't have to Fiesta. You just want to play it as, you know, a very aggressive mastermind option. You push more workers than maybe you should, and you just accept the leaks when they happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is interesting to note he's actually not going to be able to get to that steed, right?
Oh,
Oh
really?
yeah,
Does he
he
not
won't.
get it?
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, I think
because
you end up at 78.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, he can add the Aqua, which should still hold against no send. And now it's a question of whether Kingdanzz decides to snail him or not.
And I
I
don't think
don't-
King will. He's not
No.
on any
It-
95 goal.
Hmm. Yeah, looks like no snail for Drachir, so this... Oh, there it is! We see the snail!
Oh.
This
Wow.
might be... I think this is actually quite a bad leak with the Aqua Gate Guard.
Yeah,
I'm
especially
not
when he
sure.
doesn't add the.
The mask in
The
the split
mask.
or something, yeah.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah.
Does it even get the second spawn?
Oh, no, it doesn't.
wow.
67% there for Drachir.
All right.
Okay, I mean, he's getting his Fiesta gold, but 67 is at least 30% more than he would have liked.
Yeah. I mean, it's not terrible. That's 16 gold, I think, from Fiesta. And it gets full held in the middle.
Yeah.
But definitely also allows Widderson to maybe go to 7 workers. I'm not quite sure what the breakpoints are for Poda Mask there, but
There is another snail coming from Kingdanzz. Drachir with the double Aqua is either going to leak very small for a juicy Fiesta, or he's just going to hold. I'm not entirely sure which. Widderson. Does Drachir decide to go for post-income Brute here? It looks like no. No. Okay. But Drachir is going to be a little bit disappointed to see that mask come out from Widderson, because he now knows that Widderson is pretty much just not leaking anything he can send him on wave 4. And Drachir, is he going to get that Fiesta? I think he is. I just don't know how big it's going to be.
looks like about 30%, 33%.
Isn't this 50?
50?
Oh, 50.
Wow, okay. That was more than I expected, to be honest.
Yeah. I wonder if that's a split difference there.
Yeah, like he started off with the Aqua in the split, and I think that would probably have done a little bit better. But honestly, there's probably not that much in it. Maybe another 1 or 2 creeps killed.
Yeah. And does he get the cannon here? He does.
He does get the kill.
Very nice for him. Allows him to get his Fire Ellie. Should be totally fine from here on out.
Let's see. Which side?
Interesting
the
from
cannon
King adding the 2 Oathbreakers on the same side in front of each other.
Yeah. That is interesting.
One of those
I wonder why he's done
Oathbreakers is actually a square up higher than it needs to be.
that. The gun is
How
going to
they're
lose some
preparing for
DPS there, right?
Yeah, by 5 or 6 there.
Right, let's have a look at Widderson's lane then. The Cannoneer does go on the Priestess. So is it going to be enough to overwhelm before she gets that second heal out? It
She
is.
just gets it off.
Oh, it dies.
No.
Oh, that was pretty clutch.
No,
That's now a
no,
65% leak on Widderson.
It's not terrible. Widderson putting some pressure out now.
On Lucy, yeah.
Lucy did decide to shift 114 gold that way. Obviously, the Nightmare, really hard to leak on wave 4.
Yeah, for sure. And now she can just add 220 gold for wave 5, so she's got the Butcher, she's got 70 gold to play around with. Widderson's still not sending, by the way.
Oh wow, but yeah, there's the Oathbreaker, and you don't, you can't go Nightmare without a Butcher, but it's most of the time the Nightmare is going to be paired with a Butcher, and then if there's Oathbreaker, Nightmare, and a Butcher, you don't go 5, you go 6.
Yeah, although I wouldn't be surprised to see just the Yuzora on the Butcher aura, and she'll be totally fine next, probably.
I think something like a Drake has a pretty good shot of leaking Lucy. Now, Widderson doesn't know that she has both Yuzora and Walshroom available in her role, so Lucy certainly has good answers against a Drake, but that would be, I think, my send against what I see on Lucy's board. And yeah, Drachir 42% to a snail, 9 workers, claims his Fiesta here. His game plan's working pretty decently, I think.
Yeah, he's at negative.
Widder goes double brood here.
Yeah.
11 gold.
Which I like until I see the Yuzora.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's not just a Yuzora, but a Yuzora with lifesteal. It gets quite a lot of value. It's even lifestealing constantly with that passive ability. Like, not much, obviously, but it's something.
And I'm pretty sure that this Oathbreaker is going to tank some, then it's going to go Rampage, and it's going to survive, and it's going to Rampage the entire wave.
Yeah, and if that happens, then she just holds, right?
I mean, I think it's
something
pretty sure it's a
also
hold, no matter what.
Is that Kingdanzz fully shifted on wave 5 and is able to sneak out of Violet here. So it kind of baits out this brute from Drachir.
What were we saying about supercomputer for a brain?
Oh, the Oathbreaker goes berserk.
Yeah, oh, so that's just an easy hold now for Lucy. That Oathbreaker just doing insane damage. In fact, the Oathbreaker, 1500 damage. It's catching up to the Nightmare. Widderson does leak 46%. Drachir gets a pretty juicy Fiesta there.
I'll be happy with that.
But yeah, Kingdanzz obviously holding his send. It wasn't a small one in King's Lane either. So that's pretty good for him. The full shift on 5, a big win for the team of Abrasiert. Nice.
You gotta call it out every time. So curious to see what'll be next here.
Yeah. How does this work? Who do we ping now to say enabled, disabled? When they're both on the same team. I'm not sure.
Very true. I think we'll probably see a Disciple from Widderson here, and then just the Boar on 9, which will stem any of that pressure. And from Dan, he does have APS Doomsdays coming out, so he has a very solid late game. His role is not too tank heavy though, with the Growl and the Windhawk being kind of his only 2 tanks, which are both natural damage, or natural armor, excuse me.
I'm going for the mole here. I like it.
The infamous mole on 8 into Aquas, but Drachir, what is this unit on the right side of his role? Could it be the perfect mole slayer?
It just might. And I'm curious where he'll place it, actually.
Yeah, I think it has to go, like, between the Aquas.
Yeah. Perhaps. Lucy placing down an LOD will easily hold this income send.
Yeah.
Oh wow, so now he covers... Oh, it goes there. But Lucy is also set up for the 15.
15 and 11. Both the natural league waves of Snowbopper.
The Steeds as well, keeping the Firelord alive forever. So it goes down in the end, but it lived long enough to kill the mole, and that's pretty good for Drachir.
Yeah, but there's no rogue wave though, so...
Yeah.
Well, he's okay with that, I think.
I don't know if he is okay with that. That's an 80% leak, while he's got decent value, and with a Firelord? Yeah, sure, he's saving Mythium.
He's the highest workers.
He is the highest
worker. Way higher than Widderson, at least, and he's saving 200 some Mythium. I think they're pleased with that.
240,
There's
does he
two
go with a
incomes,
Ghost
though.
Knight? He goes with Ogre DT. Okay, I like it. Widderson presumably has to go with a Boar here, but a Boar is just not going to save him against an Ogre, right?
That would be rather bad. Maybe Pawn Shop for Azaria.
I think that's what Widderson's doing, yeah. He's selling a lot of Peewees, though. That's...
He's got quite a big Peewee.
Yeah, I think we... Yeah, Widderson had some very big Peewees here, but they weren't going to help him, so he sold them all for an Azaria, and let's see if that helps him anymore. Now, the Ogre is making a beeline for that Azaria, and if she goes down, that's all she wrote for Mr. Widderson. It looks like she gets the second
goes
heal,
on,
but not enough. The Azaria is down. This is going to be a huge leak for Widderson. At 93%.
King is not gonna cover too much here, even though he has the Millennium.
Yeah, this is going to be some King damage. Wow. So this is actually really bad for Widderson, because not only is it a big leak there at 93%, but he sold, I think, 4 or 5 Peewees to make it happen. So that's a 40 or 50 gold loss on top of the leak gold. Yeah, 18 workers on King, so we've got some options, right?
Yeah, I think, kind of assessing the game state right here, I don't hate it for Widder and Kingdanzz. They're about to see Lucy's income dramatically drop. King has the most workers and probably the most viable late game build right now. And Widderson, obviously, playing with his Poda and his Mask is going to be okay on some of the weaker waves of Kingdanzz. So.
Something else that's pretty interesting is that Kingdanzz also has the most Mythium, and that's before Lucy's Cartel kicks in.
Yeah, you mean income.
So there's another income resend against Drachir. He might pro Fiesta this, because he's got some pretty bad units on pen with the Aquas, with the Gate Guards. Lucy,
the Firelord tanking with the Steeds, giving it mana makes it very effective versus wave.
And it actually looks like a very juicy Fiesta. Meanwhile, Widderson also leaks the no send. So Drachir, this was a 160 send. Okay, some of it was king ups, but he leaks pretty much the same HP boss that Widderson did to no send. He now has 17 workers, starting to catch up to Kingdanzz.
And one thing to be aware of is that Drachir did push here, but he also has a mask, or sorry, not a mask, an egg in his role, so he got the option to kind of avoid that scenario, play for the egg play.
I think
Widder here, with the Titans of the Azaria.
Yeah, that's a great combination. The Titan on the Azaria is really good. Obviously, it's giving you the extra hit points, but it's giving you more heal as well, because the Azaria's heal is percentage based.
Yeah, and also the Kingdanzz goes for the hero and the APS for his Millennium and Gatling.
He has done a little bit of block building there. This Oathbreaker here is taking 2 spots away from his APS.
Yeah, but he can sell it at some point.
Yeah, he can, sure.
Yeah, I think
you see Lucy on fire. 12 send, do you think it's going to be from everybody?
Yeah.
Kingdanzz is so strong, 12 though.
Is he with Millennium?
I mean, Millennium's bad, but the rest of his units are good. He's got solid tanks with the Oathbreaker. He's got APS, Vulcan Cannon, DPS coming through. And Hero, of course. Well, Lucy and Drachir, they actually save. They're feeling strong here.
And I think for good reason. I think that not sending a 4-eyes into Lucy is probably going to spell doom for this.
Yeah, right? Like, all this Doppel needs to do is reach kind of critical mass with his ramping damage, and it just becomes unleakable. And then not only does it cover Lucy's lane, but if that thing survives in the mid, it can just clear up a pretty big leak from Drachir as well, because the damage is so high at that point.
Yeah, and this double lifesteal, and he does have 3 Oathbreakers and 4 Fists. Plus the tank value from the head chef, of course.
This is really clutch now. Really clutch. Because Lucy needs to hold here. If she doesn't, Kingdanzz and Widderson are in an amazing position. If she does, then Drachir and Lucy are in an amazing position, because they saved past this. and they're going to have an enormous pressure advantage.
Yeah, but
And
there's
it
the
looks
whole.
like she's holding very easily. And even
Yeah.
Drachir, he only leaks 57%, while he's minus 370. I'm going to call that a big win for Lucy and Drachir.
And
Then he
Drachir
has
has counterattack.
value.
Oh yeah, for sure. I didn't even spot that, yeah. So bonus plus 50 Mythium there from his spell, and of course the Fiesta Gold. That was just incredible for Drachir. These sends here on 13 are certainly not small. We've got Kraken pack leader wandering into Widderson's lane, who's going to be about 600 undervalue when he finishes building.
Just a bit.
Yeah,
And he's prepping for 14 here.
he is. I mean, he's just... What can he do, right?
There's no Ghost Knight against King, but again, maybe the Ghost Knight wouldn't be too good because there's also a Vulcan cannon.
They did save, so they're going to have pretty okay time trying to head into 15 here, assuming that they live.
Assuming that they live might be a fairly big assumption. Now, Kingdanzz has good value. He has a Doomsday with APS, with Hero, but the sends are big, right? 660 Mythium walks into Kingdanzz's lane.
But they also have 9 King attack and 93%.
Yeah.
Oh, and
This
Widder
area lived
is.
for a very long time. It does go down now. 139% on Widderson, 50% on King. And I think you're right. I think they will survive this. And again,
Yeah, but they live with about 15 to 20% HP, I think.
yeah, it's going to be a lot of damage and a lot of gold, crucially, for Lucian. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm. And I would love to see Widderson suicide here.
he has to, but I think Lucy might end up doing the same. Oh wow,
Oh.
this was actually very close. They survived,
Yeah.
but with a sliver of HP. Look at this, 5% now.
Only 5.
And let's see if Widder full pushes.
He does, yeah. So they're going for some all-in wave 15 play, I guess?
Yeah.
But look at Lucy. With Arcter, Yasora.
Yeah, she's got
Ready
some
to-
good play.
Good tank value, ready to up that Lord of Death for 15. I mean, they're actually super fucked wave 17,
Yeah.
Lucy and Drachir.
I don't think
If
this
it-
game is going to reach wave 17.
But it's not gonna reach 17.
Yeah. I think wave 15 is going to be the ending. I just don't know who's going to take it. Also worth pointing out is that Widderson's suicide play leaves him with less workers than both Drachir and Lucy. So that gives you an idea of like the disparity in this match so far,
Yeah, he has the lowest workers in the game.
even with the suicide play. And he's actually not committing to it. He's going to build again for wave 15.
Yeah. He's only 700 under.
He's building many,
But-
many veterans.
He is,
Nine.
his build is super strong for 15.
It is.
He has how many? He has seven veterans, 2
Yeah.
boars, which aren't too bad either, and
And a Titan Azaria for damage and tank.
And we see
Oh,
the
he-
tier 1 spam that I was talking about last game coming out from King
Yeah.
Kingdanzz, so I think he'll be totally fine.
he prefers 4 Pee-wees over 1 veteran.
The other thing that's really worth pointing out is that if this does come down to a race, Lucy and Drachir have 100% King HP versus 5 on the other side. This is
Yeah.
bad though. Drachir's Phoenix is getting absolutely demolished. He didn't do... Oh, he did do a higher split, but with a longer range unit, so everything went left and his Phoenix got murdered. He's going to leak really badly because of
And
this.
he's just getting
Yeah,
murdered.
It's going to be Shaman Forest.
And now
Lucy's getting murdered.
How's King doing?
Oh,
How's
but
Widder?
Kingdanzz
Widderson's
is
actually
not
doing
holding.
insanely well.
Yeah, exactly.
Does he even hold?
Wow.
No, he
right.
doesn't hold. There's no way he holds.
But Widderson holds
Uh,
the longest with 2750 value. That's very impressive.
But
now it's going to come down to the King HP.
they're still
bit, right?
dead. King and Widder are dead here.
It's very close though.
Jeez. Jeez.
Oh, 19% for Drachir and Lucy, but that's 19% more than they needed. And here is game number 1 going in favour of the Giga Tryhard duo. Very well played. Let me see if I can send Drachir and Lucy a good game thumbs up. Oh, I can. It works for a spectator. Amazing. The graph had it really close. The game was like, you couldn't really put a needle between the two teams right up until the end of the game there.
Yeah, unfortunately, that 12 cent from Widderson, maybe he wasn't able to hit his 4 eyes in income. But
Yeah. Like if we look at this wave 9, Widderson leaks really bad after selling. It was 5 peewees. That's 50 gold lost, and he leaks 93%. Like that's just too much to handle. His game is just destroyed after that, and then they just go straight 9 into 13. So he just doesn't have any chance to recover, leaking 139% there on 13. Of course, he goes for the suicide push, and impressively holds the longest on wave 15. So fair play to him for that. But yeah, the damage done on 13 was enough.
His build was basically pure 15 counter.
Yeah. It was, yeah.
Yeah, after you see the 13.
It's a 5-game series. I think we're gonna see some more out of King and Widder.
Oh, for sure. They are not out of this one yet. Also exciting, Drachir getting his first win in with Fiesta, which I don't think anyone would have predicted Drachir to play Fiesta in a tournament game. But I'm very glad that he did. And now with the Conquest format, it means he can fall back on some of his more reliable options, right? He's still got Greed available. He's still got Cartel himself, or YOLO, which he likes to play a lot.
When you have YOLO, Greed, and Cartel.
Yeah. So I think we can get the clap, 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 clap on the go for FC Lucy, because these guys have got a very good start to this grand finals now. Kingdanzz and Widderson are going to have a bit of ground to make up.
Yeah, but we also saw Drachir and Lucy lose in the first game in the other series, and
yeah, reverse sweeps are possible, but a 1-0 advantage going over to the Giga Tryhard duo is still a very nice start to the series for them. And
indeed.
You have to say it gives them like the morale advantage as well, right? They're going into game 2 on a high, and maybe Widderson and King are starting to feel a little bit stressed. Let's see what happens in game number 2.
Yeah. I think it's a bit unfortunate that Widderson was the one sending into Lucy there. Lucy on a Cartel Butcher Nightmare roll. Makes it really hard for him to try to keep her down while also staying in the game himself. Bit of an unfortunate send order in the Mastermind order there. But we do see Widderson sending into Lucy again in this match.
So they're not deciding to mix up the send order. Okay. Well, I'll be interested to see what Mastermind options Drachir and Lucy go for this time. Obviously, they can't do the Fiesta and Cartel again. They are forced to mix it up by Conquest. So, kind of interested. But guys, game number 2 is underway.
Drachir on YOLO, Kingdanzz on YOLO, Widder Greed, Lucy Greed.
Kingdanzz finally hits a great YOLO roll. Look at that.
Oh my god.
Actually, Pulverizer in the game.
What a YOLO roll!
Pulverizer in the game.
How does he do that?
What a YOLO roll. Amazing.
He's a skilled player.
He's very skilled.
Looking at Widderson's roll, looks like a pretty typical gun roll. Has the gates for wave 9. And then the LED for 11-15. Drachir's roll looks kind of difficult to play. I'd call this the Boone roll personally, because Boone, famous for his mask.
Is that just any roll with mask in it, or?
Pretty much. Any roll that you're forced to play masks in, I think, is the Boone roll.
Okay.
And Lucy has a pretty nice kind of slew of 5-worker starts here that she could choose.
I would definitely add an angler here. If you have angler in your roll.
Just for the stacks, you mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't need it to hold, but just to start those stacks rolling is probably a good decision.
Getting 24 stacks.
Yeah.
For the cost of delaying a worker a little bit. I mean, what's that cost? 2 Mythium?
Yeah, exactly. I think I am with you on that, Skovtrold. I think the Wave 1 angler is pretty value.
Lucy does go ahead and go for the flower, but she doesn't get sent.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, that's great. She has mask, so she can still go 5-worker and not be scared.
Yeah, but you have to add 2. You have to add 2 masks then.
Yeah, you have to add 2 masks, but that's fine.
Going to be leaking here.
I think I'd do stay 4 workers, add a mask, and upgrade it, because then you get a dragon turtle and go 6 workers, and then you do a big mask on for 4, which will then be angry 5.
You're still thinking like season Season 5 meta or something there, my friend. So if you get the DT with a flower and you have 2 masks, you might leak the DT, but then you just go 7 workers. It looks like Lucy is going with the safe line of play, like you say.
Yeah. Calling it.
And Drachir goes 6 workers.
Yeah, it does go 6 workers. Kingdanzz obviously not resending into a False Maiden.
This is interesting, this positioning.
It needs to pull enough for it to die, and it looks like it will.
Oh, it
Pretty much
definitely.
everything.
Just a bit. What is Widderson's answer for wave 3? Having
No.
built the Floral Pixie.
No is Widderson's answer for wave 3.
I guess just an atom.
It has to be an atom, right? Yeah, it has to be an atom on the right-hand side. Lizards coming out for Kingdanzz and Lucy, who did go 6 workers as you predicted, Skov, from the Dragon Turtle send there.
Yeah, and then you can just go Hellraiser 4.
Yeah.
Which guarantees a hold, and then it's angry for 5, where you'd usually be weak.
Yeah, I like it.
Curious to see if Widderson holds this. Another thing that I want to point out really quick is about Drachir's build. I fully predict him to push 1 worker here and not build anything on wave 4 and then pop out a Firelord on wave 5.
Ah, the Mr. Slickins tech. I dig it, I dig
Wow.
it.
Have you guys realized how strong Lucy's AoE roll is?
Yeah,
Holy,
pretty good.
yeah, that's pretty.
Because
pretty
there's the
impressive.
lead archer.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to add the archer on the right side.
Widderson kind of griefed his aggro there on his Atom, thinking a bit too much, mostly because the DT comes on in. Perhaps he was predicting a lizard.
Yeah. And as predicted, Widderson's answer for wave 3 was indeed no.
Leaking. He would have had a great Fiesta game going on.
Yeah. So now we have Danzz and Drachir leading the way with 7 workers each, and we do have a resend from Kingdanzz. So if Drachir is full shifting, which he is, will 2 or 3 snails be enough to make him leak? I think it will.
I think it will. I think this is a great call from Dan.
Yep.
I don't know if it's intentional or if he's just thinking about what he has to hit for next wave, but Drachir should be going for a pretty large leak.
Yeah.
And he's going to hate to see that.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
230 value, even though masks are perfect, it's still going to be a pretty big leak, right? Oh, wow.
Yeah,
it's going to be so bad.
Especially when the split was so bad.
Yeah. 85% there from Drachir. Kingdanzz reading him like a book. And what's worse is now I don't think he can afford the Firelord.
Unfortunately, Widder does fall prey to the exact same scenario. This is kind of one of the reasons that you oftentimes see melee tanks built on the left side as opposed to the right side, is because when you do get sent 60, as an example here, the snail will go left and the DT will go right. The DT continues to be a problem for Widderson's Atom, and that's why he's continuing to leak.
Danzz gets his Orchid on 5. Holy moly. I mean, he's just...
He doesn't have any tanks for it, but...
He doesn't have any tanks, no, and his Nightmare's
doesn't
going
need
to
it.
die very quickly.
Yeah, but
also
Drachir
can't
has
afford
to
to boost,
sell his Gargoyle in order to get this Violet, so his game is looking harder and harder.
Yeah. The triple snail send from Kingdanzz on 4 really put a dampener on Drachir's game plan.
I am curious about this Orchid. I wouldn't have minded seeing instead the Butcher, just because Butcher is substantially better than Orchid, actually, in wave 5. And he's going to be going for a bit of a leak despite being on value.
Yeah.
But he is able to just kind of AFK push now.
Drachir did hold. But the thing is, Kingdanzz, because he's 510 value with amazing units on 6, he can just full push, no worries. Here's a pretty big send coming out from Widderson. Lucy, definitely not amazing on 6. Certainly not against a mole.
But
He does have a Zeus, I think.
Julian really, not Julian, Jules really loves Widderson King's position here.
I also really like Widderson King's position.
Yeah, Kingdanzz on 10 workers with the income lead is a pretty nice place to be.
Oh wow, Drachir added the second honey flower.
Wow.
Oh.
And Drachir finally places down that angler that you were talking about on wave 1.
Oh my god, no, you have to have it at 75 stacks before wave 7.
I think
Lucy's probably going to leak 5 in the mole here on half HP.
yeah, Lucy's going for what we in the business refer to as a leak. 110%.
It's a bit of a home run, I believe.
It is a home run. 110%. But farming stacks with his angler.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Imagine if that honey flower had been an upgraded Zeus.
Yeah, probably would have done a bit better.
Nice.
The problem with honey flower is that you get one, but then you can't get another one until like wave 16 or something.
We're just too vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
And
And
by
also,
the way, guys,
Lucy, like,
Kingdanzz has gotten his tier 6 out off that league.
yeah, there's his sovereign. So he's got quite a lot of swift armor on the board, by which I mean 100% of his units.
And he's receiving 2 brutes, which, can anybody tell me what kind of damage brutes do?
Pierce, right?
Oh, I think it might be a different one. Skovtrold.
Is it one that's good or bad against swift armor?
No, I have to tell you here that it's the one that's bad against swift armor.
Oh.
It might just be.
So
Kingdanzz
he
about
just
to
holds?
take off in this game, I predict.
Yeah, he's gonna start.
Yeah,
Maybe
the
50
nightmare is
off
still in there doing amazing damage.
Widderson does leak, so Kingdanzz is going to
just
have to
barely.
get his carry pants on if he wants to win this one.
But he does have his carry
has got
pants
them
on.
He does have them on, yeah.
And he's full in the middle.
Yeah, that Avenger just popping online at exactly the
Yeah.
right time.
And Kingdanzz is just
Widderson.
going to turn on auto, I think, and kind of just take this one. over.
Wow. We talk about this.
Of
Yeah.
course.
15 workers Kingdanzz.
That's pretty
Not a care
impressive.
not a care in the world.
He is on shutdown. There's a chance he leaks if Lucy gets out 80.
I think there's a decent chance he leaks, actually, if Lucy full sends. Like, the 2 lizards, which actually do good damage against swift armor, should be enough to take him down.
I'd love to see a couple
And
of
there is
boosts here.
two.
Just
Oh, she does go for the 80. Witter went for the after income mole, by the way. I don't know if you guys caught that.
Let's have a look at Lucy's lane, because I was thinking she was very weak on 8. Does get the canopy, but it's not enough. That's going to be a sizable leak on FC Lucy. Let's hop back over to Kingdom.
I think she's holding.
King leaks pretty
King
big
does
here.
leak, and that is shutdown
Really
gold.
close.
But I don't think he cares. He's 17 workers.
Yeah, he's 17 workers.
Lucy.
And Lucy leaks bigger than him, so
Yeah. I mean, she got a bigger send, right? That was a mole snail, and it was post-income mole from Widderson, so that's painful for him.
yeah, definitely a bigger send, but like 18 workers just
Yeah.
gathering
and I
all the
think we'll-
mythium in the world.
18
We'll
is
see
a lot
one
of
skip
workers.
here, and then
Okay.
Witter and Dan are going to go 10, and that'll just be kind of all she wrote there, unless Lucy is really overvalued, but she looks like she is so far.
Yeah. I mean, the 18 worker pressure onto Drachir is pretty nuts. And is he actually shifting 170 gold here? No, okay, he just sells a mask for the violet, so he is feeling the pressure. He didn't want to go into the wave being 170 undervalue. I can respect that. We'll get his kingpin for next wave, but it's going to be a very low stacked kingpin.
Oh, that's hardly gonna be a kingpin. It's just gonna be a pin.
It's going to be a prince pin.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll be an ogre from Dan, almost certainly.
Yeah.
Nah, what about the... Yeah, okay, he has the mask.
There it is. Alright, Drachir and Lucy do save. So if they're able to not get completely rolled over on this wave, they're in a good position. But getting rolled over might just be what happens.
And unfortunately,
I mean,
Lucy had exact gold for a gate, as opposed to getting a Trinity Archer here, so she's certainly not holding.
Yeah, she's definitely not
And the archers... I gotta say, I feel it's placed wrong over here. I much prefer it on the side.
Oh, okay.
Because then it has a much more limited target range.
Yeah, so you're
I
not
see.
pulling any units to the right. You're just letting it kind of flank the wave and deal damage
Yeah,
to
exactly.
units on the corner. I like that. I like
Because then
She
when
actually kills off her mask too, so she doesn't even get to kill this lizard.
that. And Drachir obviously leaking with his Prince Pin, just not doing enough damage.
it's 57 stacks.
Yeah.
I mean, how bad would it?
64% Lucy,
How
40%
bad would it have been to build it wave 1 and have it gather
Yeah, I
all
agree
the
with
stacks?
you. I agree with you. And then maybe he wouldn't have leaked like 100% wave 4 as well.
I don't know. I think, yeah. Yeah, if you just take the angler instead of the extra worker as well.
And they opt to save. So
I mean,
probably
they have
embargo for both.
to make something happen, right?
Mhm.
Is it going to be
I just
12?
don't know. It's not clear
Oh my
when they
god.
go, if not
Not,
here.
not only does Kingdanzz have the perfect YOLO roll, there's a pulverizer for his fucking doppelganger.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
juicy. And he has used his reroll though, so he won't be able to get like any fortified tanks. So maybe 12 is a possibility, maybe, but it's so
No.
hard with the super buff doppelganger.
Oh, but Drachir's actually 20 workers now.
Oh, they don't go for embargo though.
I think they're pushing hard for a 12 cent. I just don't
Yeah.
know that it's going to work when you've got a pulverizer kingpin with lifesteal and a pulverizer doppelganger with lifesteal. I think a 12 cent is a pretty tall order.
Mhm.
Do we see a pro leak here on the side of Drachir and Lucy though?
I'm not
Well, they
certain
go
that
for
it's
the
a pro
12
league.
cent.
Do go for the
I
12
think the
cent.
main issue is if they scare Dan and Witter into incoming here, it's actually very much so the correct play from them.
True.
Pretty much the only way that they can lose this game, at least to me it feels right now, is by leaking this current send.
Yeah. Well, Kingdanzz and Widderson were not scared into the send. We do have an interesting build here with Kingdanzz building the only natural tank that he has for wave 12, and then adding devil fishes.
On the age-old polywalk chase split.
Yeah. And Widderson's building several baby anglers in the split with that new skin looking pretty sweet.
Yeah,
Is it going to be enough?
Do get 10.5 HP per gold, so.
This is 560 Mythium wandering into the lane, which is not small.
No, I think Widder is leaking, but
Yeah. Flip over to Kingdanzz and see how he does. That Doppel's still full HP. Now starting to take aggro, but splitting with the remaining natural tank Butcher. Doing very well for King.
Leaking
Widderson
the
does
forest.
leak 100%. Kingdanzz leaks 50.
the forest and 2 creeps.
Yeah.
They're definitely alive. They're fine with this.
Yeah,
The
and
question
just
is,
look at
are they
this.
going 14?
Just look at this Mythium. So Kingdanzz and Widderson were not scared into Income King here, and now they have a massive, massive pressure lead over Drachir and Lucy.
They do take quite a bit of king damage, but
They do.
not enough to really threaten them.
And so Lucy's suicide pushing, I think. Or unless. Yeah, she's going in. Lucy's going hard. She's full pushing. She'll leak here, wave 13, no send. And that means they have to go for wave 14. Their only play.
But that's fine.
Mhm.
That's the Phoenix on Drachir, which...
Yeah, it's great on 13, but it's not quite so good on 14, right? Like, it would be better if you had the Doomsday.
Double 4 Eyes is just gonna obliterate.
Yeah. I think that actually goes for double Centaur.
Double Centaur. Well, that's also gonna obliterate the Phoenix.
Mhm.
Not sure I agree with the Centaurs, but then again, who am I to question Kingdanzz?
I don't like the Centaurs either. Let's question Kingdanzz. Lucy doing pretty well here. Very low value, 1800 there, only leaking 2 creeps. And of course, we're going to come down to a race now on 14. Thing is,
King's gonna get a Sovereign, And then he's gonna add 2 steeds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm not sure if I like them there though.
Yeah.
I
Like it
think
doesn't really matter if they have lifesteal, right? Because they're not doing any damage anyway.
they
so,
have 0.
Yeah. Like,
0 damage.
They're going to lifesteal for like 2. I think Kingdanzz heard you. It looks like he's... Oh no, never mind.
No.
He sells them and puts them back exactly where they were.
Yes.
Yeah, the real problem
Maybe
here is...
maybe this one is decent, but I'd get rid of this one.
Yeah.
Put it.
And Drachir didn't even use his pulverizer.
Yeah, the real problem here is that Drachir is receiving double the send that Widderson is receiving. And he needs to be able to hold longer than both, which is a bit of a tall order at this point. You say he hasn't used his pulverizer at all?
Yep, he didn't place it.
That seems like a mistake.
Yeah, it might have been better to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now Kingdanzz leaks.
Widder just
would leak too.
Widder's leaking as well, but he's leaking such a small that it's actually he's still
after the other two effects.
he was even delaying better with leaking than holding, I think.
So that brings us to a tied series, 1 apiece for Abrasiert and the Giga Tryhard duo. And this one was pretty interesting. We saw the kind of decent leaks on 12 against Danz and Widderson. They did lose a lot of King HP there.
Yeah, they lost. Wait for it, 69%.
69? No way. Amazing.
That's pretty. Where's the nice? Come on.
Well,
Nice.
it's the nerd in me just can't accept it because they only lost 63%. You know.
Oh, damn! They'd lost 7%. Yes,
they
that's
lost
true.
6% already.
Oh my god.
Unfortunate. But yeah,
Well,
they got a ton of damage in on 12, but they saved past that. They weren't pressured into income kinging, and that just meant that they had enormous sends on wave 14 against Drachir and Lucy.
Yeah. Yeah, those 14 cents were massive.
Yeah.
Which we saw that
Now,
they leaked so much faster, and both
they
leaked
so much
plus 100%.
Yeah. I don't think that the pulverizer was going to save Drachir, but he probably still should have placed it somewhere. I think it's fair to say that he probably should have used
I mean, yeah,
it.
but he didn't have any good units for it, in my opinion.
You probably just stick it on like the feet or something.
Yeah, I mean, there's still the attack speed buff, but a Phoenix with pulverizer is not that much stronger than a Phoenix without pulverizer. But of course, it is stronger.
So now we have a tied series, 1 game each for Abrasiert and Giga Tryhard. So we're pretty much devolving back into a best of 3. The difference being Drachir can't play Fiesta, Lucy can't play Artel, Kingdanzz can't play YOLO, and Widderson, I think that was Greed, right?
Yeah, that was Greed. That was double YOLO Greed from Drachir and Lucy. Or King and Widder and Drachir and Lucy.
Oh, we're straight into game number 3. They are not messing about this time, boys.
Oh.
Widder probably be Castle here.
Kingdanzz tagline is making perfect sense this series, actually.
Kingdanzz trying to carry a wash teammate.
YOLO from Widder.
Let's get into game number 3.
This time it's Widder YOLO and King Greed. And both Drachir and Lucy Greed.
I'll let you guys talk about the roles a little bit. I'm going to add a scoreboard onto the stream, so bear with me.
Are we going to see Widder going with the casket? He has casket masks, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, casket mask is decent. He has Seraphins for wave 5, as well as Sea Dragons, which are decent on wave 5. As wave 6, it's going to be difficult, but maybe a red mask can help solve that. Looking at Drachir's role, it's a pretty nice Bone Crusher start with the cat. It's almost a guaranteed 6 workers by wave 3, and leading into the Mudman Nightmare and Lord of Death really helps cover 11-15, and then Mudman will tank it for the Nightmare. That will be his main DPS.
Yeah.
Lucy has a pretty classic gun roll here. She is kind of lacking an early, or at least an easy to get to arcane tank. So wave 7, wave 8, and wave 3 are all kind of things to watch out for, as well as wave 11 could be difficult, although she does have the boar and the Soul Gate. And Kingdanzz.
And going with the Hog opener.
I think that would be pretty good. We see Lucy and Drachir, King ups, no send from either side.
See, here we see Widder going for the False Maiden with the 2 anklers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he wants those stacks.
Yeah. Oh, and now it makes sense that King went for the Hawk.
Mm.
I would have definitely gone Wild's Room opener with his role, but now he's just the perfect team player because he leaks 2 crabs.
Kingdanzz is so good, guys.
Wow, how is
unbelievable.
Kingdanzz so good? How is he only leaking 1? What is this?
Because
leaks one
he's
great
player
with
slot
Windwall.
1. Player slot 1 looks differently.
He's so good.
Square number 4. Always put the Hawk on square number 4 from now on.
I'll put my Windhawk in square number 4 every time, and I guarantee I'm leaking 2.
Drachir actually is placing his Fire Archer even split.
Yeah,
I think
I
generally
think
it's a full hold if you place it up. I've never seen even split. I don't know how that'll do versus the DT.
I don't think this can leak to a DT when you have the Fire Archer and the Crusher, because the Fire Archer always pulls the DT, and that just means that the Crusher never dies. Like, this is absolutely fine. The Fire Archer wins this battle against a turtle and 3 creeps.
And Dan, playing a little bit like Aviator. He's Aviator. He's got his tier 3 spam coming out.
And yeah, as expected, Drachir easily holding, now on 6 workers as well, by the way, wave 2, not too shabby. We've got nice.
I was waiting on that one.
You're really on this today, kid. Like, it's nice.
You gotta do something during these games. Widderson, I do want to note, was just 1 gold short of his bounty hunter here.
No.
Didn't you? Oh, the 69 gold. I thought it was income again, which was like, what the hell?
Yeah, that was way crazy on wave 3.
So Dan does have his consort here. So he'll be looking pretty nice on wave 4 as well with that consort, probably giving him the ability to shift for either a Violet or a Canopy relatively easily, although I could see him pushing 2 and maybe trying to grab that Sea Serpent.
And Widderson as well, not deciding to upgrade his Bounty Hunter on wave 4. He cares not for the stacks, he just wants the workers, which I think is a pretty decent play.
I mean, you don't have to have the Bounty Hunters upgraded until wave 7.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sure, there's 12 stacks to pick up at 5, but then there's like 9 at 4. Then there's 9 at 5 and 6 at 6. So.
It's a full send from Lucy, but not from Drachir.
It's so juicy as well. The Fire Archer just pulling 3 creeps away from the Rave. It never dies to those 3 chickens. Really solid positioning there from Drachir, pulling the Fiend onto his Warg.
Probably 8 workers from him, though.
Yeah, he's already got 7. Does he push? He does not. He's staying 7. That's a little bit overcautious, I think, because... Oh no, never mind. He just pushed a little bit slow.
There's the 8th.
There's the 8th. But Drachir, obviously, very, very strong on wave 5.
And Lucy's starting to show that weakness that I was talking about, right, as we were going over the roles. No easy to access non-natural tank in her greed pick here.
And Widderson,
really wanting.
Widderson is fast approaching that magic 100 Mythium. So if he wants to send imps on 6, he can.
Oh yeah, that's true. The imps on 6 are going to be dangerous with that natural.
And Dan will comfortably hold the 60 re, I think. He'll probably go to 9 markers.
Yeah, the turtle is pretty good against the consort. It does take...
He just killed the turtle and then the poison.
Yeah.
Kills another.
That was pretty juicy.
It's gonna be...
It's a hold. Or a very, very small leak.
That's a small leak. A serpent cannot...
Or is it the serpent buff diff?
40 hit
Surely.
points.
A serpent cannot hold 3, but it's just 1.
It's damn close though. I mean, this is perfect for King.
Oh my goodness, almost a buff difference.
I think I send a Drake actually if I'm Widderson. rather than imps.
Let's see what he goes.
But
He doesn't
I
go.
am not
I think
Widderson,
he
and he
sends
sends
nothing.
nothing.
He
at
just
all.
he goes double dino on 7
Double
because
dino.
then it's all magic damage
Mm-hmm. Or
against
just a
the.
pack leader could be pretty good.
I think the double dino with the natural 2 natural tanks against the full pierce,
Sure.
and it's also
He does
income
get
set. It's an
the
income
red
set.
mask. He's receiving 100. Drachir's going to be kicking himself that this wasn't a full send.
If he sent like lizard or even snails here, I think this probably ends up being quite a big leak against Widderson.
Yeah, because this red mask can pretty much just exactly cover the triple Rockos. But if there's a snail over there, that was
it exactly
bad
doesn't
news.
cover them. But then the little mask just picking up all the kill credit. Yeah. Oh, he's still leaking Cannoneer, but
but he's
you're
happy
right,
about
kid. Like
this.
if that was 2 snails instead of 2 king ups, this leak is probably looking more like 70% than 26%.
Yeah. That's alright. Probably a prediction of a violet there as opposed to this.
Oh, we're going for the triple brood.
Here they
It's not
come.
bad. And Lucy
The
did reroll. I don't know
on
if you guys caught
7.
that.
But Lucy rolled away from Badger and into Steed.
Mhm.
Like the Badger's just better on this wave, no?
Yeah, way better.
Probably substantially better, yeah. I don't know if Steed really gives mana to anything useful in her build.
Oh, so there is the damage reduction buff, but it's also an attack speed buff, so...
Drachir does get out his card in.
These are big boy sends now.
But Lucy
does.
Lucy does have the gate for later, so the mana is gonna be relevant then.
Yes.
But I just think the Badger is what she needed right now, you know?
She hit the Badger right now, but what about 9?
Well, I think the Badger's better on 9 than the Steed's there as well.
With the gate?
75% on Lucy, and we are going to see a low HP Brute leaked here from Drachir as well. 54%. Oh, this is some king damage as well. We've got 5 Brutes reaching the right side king here. Wow, they're really dropping. All the way down there to 62%. I think we can chalk that one down as a bit of a one trade for Kingdanzz and Widderson. Jewels only giving them 3% as the edge, though.
Well, it was 56-44, Drachir and Lucy before the leaks. Yeah,
and
so
perhaps more importantly to note, Jewels does not calculate for bounty hunters accruing value before they become kingpins.
True. So with that power spike due to come Widderson's way sometime soon, he might go for a bit of a leak here though against the 5 snails from Drachir.
Receiving 5 snails.
But that's 5 easy stacks. Oh, well, not easy stacks, but it is 5 stacks from the snails.
Well, I think he'd rather hold the wave.
I think he's losing a lot more than 5 stacks. Yeah, a little bit of a leak
I think
there.
Widder did not expect 140 into 100.
Yeah, sure. So that's actually really good for Drachir and Lucy because they were kind of in danger of falling behind a bit off that wave 7 send. But this maybe even things up economically at least. They're still behind in king damage, of course.
But doesn't King and Widder go here? No, they don't?
No, they go 10 or 11 though. Particularly because Widder's going to be fine for the next 2 waves.
I don't think they want to go 11. Oh, they definitely go 10. With this dehardened column, they definitely go 10.
Now they go 10, and there's also... Yeah, Lucy can get the Vulcan for 10, but...
Yeah, Lucy can get the Vulcan for 10, but her tanks are not perfect. The Steed's just absolutely dead value on wave 10, and the Gate is certainly not perfect either, because those range creeps just do nothing.
Yeah. But the Gate does get to summon its minions really fast. It summons
very quickly, yeah. The Steeds are at least giving it mana. Yeah, Kingdanzz and Widderson are very, very happy when they see this hardened golem here on wave 9.
Yeah.
And a 4 as, jeez.
Oh, Widderson almost leaking no send as well.
Well,
I think he'd
calculated.
be very happy to leak.
Yeah, he
It's a
went
great
calculated
right now.
hold.
270. I think Centaur might actually be his best send.
Yeah, actually might. With everything like clustered up like this for Lucy, I think Centaur for once might be a decent send.
I think it would have gone imps.
I do not think imps are great until when you see a gun. And you already have an upgrade Pegasus.
I mean, there's so much natural armor, so...
Yeah, yeah. I understand that. And does Harden.
And
You
he
do see
has
Doppel.
the Fire Lord, but Lucy's sending 2 lizards.
There is a doppelganger here for Drachir, which is pretty good on this wave, but the D-hardened golem just dies so much faster than he would have liked. So this will be a big
yeah.
He's killing this pack leader very slowly. He's gonna be unhappy about that.
So
Oh, he doesn't get it! Oh, just at the end with the death of the consort.
1% there. But this is a ton of damage. I don't even know if they survive.
Oh, there's the...
Full HP 4 Eyes, full HP Ogre? Gonna be close.
I think they live. Yeah, they live.
Yeah, they live.
They live, but at what
That's
cost?
a lot of damage.
They're on 15% King HP now.
Hey, the 2
Damn.
teams combined have 100% King HP.
Dan and Witter are pretty free to take embargo here and either aim 13 or even 14, you know?
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like they push too hard off that send. They're both basically on value. Widderson obviously able to abuse his Kingpin stacks for value.
Yeah, Kingdanzz is very weak on 12, I have to say. But there's no aggressive option to undercut the embargo with.
Yeah. I was looking at King and thinking, he's not the best for 12. But then I looked at Widder and saw, oh yeah, there's the Bounty Hunters.
Oh, he is the best on 12, yeah.
Lucy killed her gun there.
Yeah, it doesn't matter though, it's only a small gun. She didn't get the upgrade there.
It's a small gun, there are 2 gates just spewing out minions.
And Drachir and Lucy both take the Protector rather than the embargo or investment. So it's kind of going to come down now to when Kingdanzz and Widderson send. Will Drachir and Lucy be able to survive that with their power spike from Protector? They're still not showing it, so it looks like they're reading the embargo play pretty well.
That's the Protector on the line, isn't? No, it's not. It's the... Never mind. It's gonna come down on the line eventually, I believe.
I smell blood.
I really like not the line. I also like the Lioness for Lucy, but I like the Protector with the gates.
Yeah, agreed. It gets you like the extra spawn or 2, doesn't it? Because the gates just heal.
Yeah. And with the steeds, so they get to summon them really quick.
Yeah. Right. Now, Kingdanzz and Widderson have scary amounts of Mythium, approaching the 400 mark on both of them. Do they go 13, or is this going to be like a straight 14 play? It is a 13 set.
I think it's
Oh, they do go 13.
Now, Drachir and Lucy save their Mythium. There is Phoenix. Yeah. There is Harden on Drachir. There is Protector on Phoenix. This is starting to write the game plan where Drachir and Lucy come back. There's
it's King and Drachir, man. They both have. They
Pretty
both
much
have
the same
Phoenix.
build?
They
Yeah.
both have Mudman. Like,
Yeah. Deja vu from looking at the 2 lanes there. This is very clutch now for Drachir and Lucy. We do have the Lioness Protector. And the sends are massive. 500 on Drachir, 480 on Lucy. But there's no second 4 Eyes to take out this Phoenix. So this Protector Phoenix is just doing the Lord's work over here for Drachir, staying alive forever. And the 4 Eyes can't wrap round onto the Phoenix, which just lets it freely
Phoenix
kill the
dealing
entire
400
wave.
damage each attack.
Absolutely insane. That's a full hold there from Drachir. And Lucy not doing too shabby either. She leaks 2 creeps, and Drachir just full holds comfortably.
And the Phoenix is gonna cover those 2
the
creeps.
Phoenix is going to cover those 2 for sure.
Uh,
And now the pressure advantage is heavily in favour of Drachir and Lucy. I think they want 15.
66-34 right now.
They go here.
What's it gonna be after this?
It might come.
Kingdanzz at Ireland.
Okay,
Oh,
41%.
that didn't swap too much. I disagree, Jules.
Now King has 508. He's building another Fire Lord. He's expecting the 15 send, I suppose.
The send
also-
is really small.
Yeah. I guess there's going to be a Mimic coming out there from Lucy. There it is.
That's still
no
520
Kingdanzz.
and 520 for both of them.
Oh, no.
It's 420,
Okay.
480.
I mean, Widderson's basically on value. Kingdan's the same. I will say that Kingdan's is certainly not the best on this wave. The Ogre getting insta-snipe, though, is big for him. Widderson got his gate killed very quickly.
That's fine. The gate is so bad on 14 that
I think double Kingpin is pretty good on 14 though,
Yeah.
especially with APS.
yeah, anything that allows the Kingpin to deal damage for a longer time is leaking 1 creep.
Leaking 1 creep, maybe even just holding? 1 creep, okay. 8% leak there from Widderson. I think he's pretty happy with that.
And probably just 16 now.
Yeah,
There's no rerolls left, so no surprise pyros or flowers.
And this
Maybe
game now
Lucy or
feels
Drachir.
very, very hard for Drachir and Lucy. Like the wave 13 hold there from Drachir was the start to their game plan, like to try and come
this
back into
is-
the game. But yeah, this just feels like it's kind of all she wrote now. The income send here from Drachir is not it, right? But I think the 14 send just needed to pretty much win the game. Otherwise, how do they ever come back from the discrepancy now?
I think they should have just held on to the Mythium on 15 instead.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, and Dan Pawn Shops for his second Phoenix there.
He's
I
just
mean,
not
yeah,
leaving anything
Dan-
to chance.
Dance would have had the double Phoenix for 15, of course, which he still does.
And there is a
But-
4 eyes resend there from Lucy, so the second Phoenix, a pretty good call from King.
Yeah,
The first Phoenix dies very quickly. The second Phoenix is backline. Now starting to tank, now starting to
But-
deal damage. Will it kill the boss though? It will not. That's a 50 gold shutdown. And Widderson, he's leaking 2. I don't think it's
Oh.
enough, however.
There's no Kingdanzz.
there's no damage at all.
Wow.
Yeah, but both bosses
Imagine
are very
this
low.
wasn't. Imagine
Oh yeah,
that
the
wasn't double
the
King.
300. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the boss without HP means that they should survive this.
Yeah, both of these octopuses are low and there's no shaman. I think they will survive, but they're cutting it close.
I mean,
Or
isn't it 3 of the small ones to deal the same damage as a big one?
maybe. I think Drachir probably kicking himself for not doing a full send there on wave 15 though. The Cannoneers
Yeah.
and the Hermit. Like imagine if that was, I don't know. He didn't quite have shaman gold, did he?
I mean, even just imagine a lot of snails here.
4 eyes and a few snails.
Or I mean, Widow also has the mask, so maybe just the witch and snails.
Yeah, true. So here comes the game-ending save. One way or another, the game will end here on 16. The sends are enormous. Coming on the side of Drachir and Lucy, 840,
Yeah.
860. And the Protector Phoenix that did so well on 13 is going to melt under the gaze of that 4 eyes. I say melt, it's still surviving a very long time. I don't think it's going to be enough, and it does finally go down. And Lucy, she is getting steamrolled by this 860 send from Widderson. That is a big leak on her
Yeah.
lane, a big leak on Drachir's lane, and Widderson and King both holding, so that is GG.
I think King is leaking at the end. Yeah, but
Ah,
it
he
doesn't
is,
matter.
Doesn't matter. So
Especially.
Abrasiert 2-1. After dropping the first game, they've come back with a passion.
That is Dan's greed game, though.
Yeah, true. And Widderson's YOLO game, so they're going to have to mix it up. They both now have used greed and YOLO, correct?
Oh my
We'll
god.
see chaos.
Dan's got fed so hard, like
I
40 on 3, 40 on 4, 60 on 5, 60 on 6, 60 on 7.
he's 12 workers on wave 8.
Yeah.
I did like the snail resend into Widderson, getting that big leak against his kind of greedy gold shift there. I thought that was a really nice play for Drachir. But yeah, they took so much damage on 10. It really came down to that Golem harden on 9, right? I don't think Drachir needed to harden there. He's minus 15. He has a Golem, which is already insane on wave 9. And for sure, if he hardened 10 instead, he's killing the boss, right? Maybe even full holding.
Well, he leaked the boss with 123 HP, right? So.
Yeah. But he might even kill the 4 eyes if he has the hardened Golem on 10, because it lives so much longer.
Yeah.
But you can't really do ifs, muts, and babies, because maybe if Drachir didn't harden on 9, maybe they just go 11 instead. You know, it's really hard to call things like that.
Yeah, the trigger to go 10 was definitely the fact that it was hardened on 9.
Yeah, for sure. I absolutely loved Drachir's hold on 13. I thought that was a really crucial possible turning point. But then the fact that their 14 Sen just didn't get anything done kind of sealed their fate there. And then that's just all she wrote there on wave 16.
Yeah.
I suppose there's a small chance if Drachir full sent on 15, maybe it's enough to win the game, like if he sends 4 eyes instead of the Cannoneers. But we'll never know. All we can say is it's time to find game number 4. And now it's Abrasiert who have the advantage. So do you think there's any kind of mental edge now going back over to the side of Kingdanzz and Widderson? Because we were saying at the start that Lucy and Drachir are going to be going into game number 2 and 3 on a high from having the early game lead. But now it's Lucy and Drachir who are fighting for their lives, because one single win is the end of their tournament for Kingdanzz and Widderson. So Lucy and Drachir having to go for the reverse sweep of their own here in the grand finals. Can they do it? Or will we have Abrasiert winning the August over the top here in game number 4? Any favourites, Skovtrold?
I mean, Kingdanzz and Widder, they're missing some crucial mastermind options right now, so we might see something happening. But then again, they both have Cartel.
I know Widderson likes playing Castle as well.
Yeah, there's even they even have Chaos available, so.
They do have Chaos, and I think if there's a team to play Chaos in the grand finals, it probably is Kingdanzz and Widderson. So I think we might see it happen. I think it's going to make for a very interesting game.
I could see King come up with some just amazing Chaos strategies.
Yeah. Right, it looks like Drachir has just gone AFK for 1 minute, so we'll have to back.
We're also missing Widder.
Missing Widderson as well, yeah. So I might take the opportunity to go and grab myself some water, because my cup seems to have been stolen by a child when I wasn't looking.
Those pesky children.
I know, who'd have them. Let me pop the schedule screen on and I will be back in 1 minute. We have got a small pause here while the teams wait for game number 4 to start, so be right back.
It's interesting to see that in both the games, both the series we've watched, that we don't know that King and Widder win yet, but FC Lucy and Drachir, they lost their first game, and then they won 2 games in a row, and now it seems like Kingdanzz and Widder are on a pretty well on their way to win 3 games in a row after losing the first game of the series.
Yeah, we'll see. I think these most recent games have been pretty close. Dan and Witter definitely in the driver's seat this one, particularly after the 14 send.
Yeah.
Leading up to 14, after Drachir's huge 13 hold, and honestly, Lucy did really, really well as well. The game was not entirely clear who was in the lead there, although, by the end it felt pretty clear. So,
Yeah.
All right, I am back. So it looks like we found Widderson.
I love that. Drachir said ready again when Widder joined, and then I said Penny FK, but who needs him, right? And then no confirmation that you were back, and
Amazing.
they just went, yeah.
Amazing. That's just so
Let's
rude.
see.
All right, what are the options for Kingdanzz and Widderson? It is
Chaos
Chaos on
Castle.
King.
Kingdanzz.
It is Widderson.
Yeah,
Widderson.
my man.
What's he picking?
It's gonna be Castle. Oh man, look at
All right.
Kingdanz's Chaos World though. I'd love
Yes.
to play that just normally.
Yeah, right.
Oh my god. Kingdanzz Wildstorm start.
Widderson on the
Redraw.
redraw. Okay, let's hop into game number 4.
Very exciting here.
I just want to point out that I would have done exactly the same thing as Kingdanzz in this game so far.
What, you would have built a Wildshroom?
Yes.
What a god gamer.
How do you come up with it?
I
Drachir
quite
actually.
like the mastermind choices from Kingdanzz and Widderson, by the way. So Kingdanzz has gone for like maximum RNG variants, and Widderson is going for minimum RNG variants with the redraw. So he's guaranteeing himself a good roll there with the, what is it, 4 rerolls that you get?
Yeah, it's plus 3.
4 total. Looking at Drachir's roll, it's pretty good. Obviously, the flower plus the Chloropixie has a lot of inherent synergy, and the ability to kind of easily start that Angler really gives him a lot of chance to still push, despite investing 40 gold in a unit that's kind of dead weight early on.
Yeah.
Lucy also with kind of a classic gun roll. She has her natural, her arcane, and her swift armor, all as her cheap units. She has a growl to make getting to that big gun very easy, and she has the Yazora to eventually tank for her 13.
Does King go Aqua or Infiltrator here?
Infiltrator.
I think it'll be
Yeah, that's there is some merit though to like putting an Aqua here and a Poly over here.
King
We'll do
chooses
that.
the
That'd be
Infiltrator. The Edric. You think he's still going 6 workers with the Angler build there?
I
Yeah,
know.
I think almost certainly. One thing I do want to point out, Witter did reroll into the strongest unit on wave 3, Gargoyle. So he's pretty able to comfortably go 5 workers still, despite being redrawn and having that less
6
income.
workers, yeah, on Widderson. Very nice.
Yeah, 6 workers, wow.
Okay, so here
Yeah,
comes
6
Snail
workers
Sends
from
all
Drachir.
around. Yeah, as
Drachir.
well.
Drachir just gets it in time.
Oh, this is so good, by the way. The seedling, it just adds so much DPS to the Honeyflower. If you think
That's
about
what I
it,
was
right, the seedling
mentioning.
does 2 DPS, the Honeyflower does 10 DPS. So it's 20% of the Honeyflower's damage for 15 gold. It's pretty nuts. As long as you can keep it alive, it's very high value, like, damage for the gold cost. And just perfect in a flower build.
And Dan, by the way, adds a Gate Guard and a Bone Warrior. That Bone Warrior probably going to be putting into a Fire Archer next turn.
Yeah. He's not looking great on 4, but Drachir doesn't really have much Mythium to send against him. And like you say, that Fire Archer is just going to be, I think, enough to handle pretty much anything that Drachir can throw at him.
Yeah. And Drachir, actually, pretty notably, since he's Greed instead of YOLO, not able to get to the Bounty Hunter without selling his
The
Chlorophyll.
seedling, yeah, that is painful,
seedling.
actually.
Yeah.
But still 7 workers with a Bounty Hunter build on wave 4, so not too shabby.
Pretty good, pretty good. Lucy Will she add a peewee? This can leak to a triple snail.
She does not. Lucy is not scared of this. So only the dragon turtle sent against Kingdanzz. There was no snail added there by Drachir, so not an attempted leak. Just claiming his income there with the 7 workers. You can't really blame him for that.
I think we'll see brutes from Widder and Dan here.
Looks like they're saving. Oh, never mind. It's just income send, so snails from King. But Widderson putting the starve onto Drachir.
And they'll just get that green devil. And probably feel pretty comfortable here. I think he's in a reroll right now.
Yeah. He also has the Butler in his role, so he's got options to hold this wave in 6.
Mm-hmm. And Dan finds a pretty good answer for his wave 8, given that he's already shown 2 pretty heavy impact damage units.
Kingdanzz is just rocking the tier 3 spam.
Yeah. That's a great way to play the game.
Loving it.
Widderson opts instead of the green devil to go for triple golden buckler. That helps cover his wave 6 a little better.
It looks like everybody's just holding against their income. Yeah. Maybe a small leak on Kingdanzz. The Fire Archer is nicely picking off the low HP Scorpions. So it's going to be a very small leak.
What's that, 28?
Mostly fine with that.
28.
Lucy does have the worker lead though, because she was able to just fully shift for that honey flower on 4. Not having to place down any of those peewees.
Yeah. I think the flower goes pretty well with the gun, by the way, because you're always clumped up with this mid lane build. So I think the flower's a pretty nice pair. Not only is it a good damage type with the magic, but it also is fairly tanky as well with natural HP. Pretty decent on the waves where gun is weak.
And it's decent HP per gold as well.
Mm-hmm.
2 different boosts coming out to 0 sending. Drachir shifting 160 gold. Oh,
never mind.
He places a triple flower, so Widderson's pressure has really forced Drachir into a build that is actually terrible on wave 7.
Yeah, Drachir is in real trouble now. Real trouble.
160 there.
I think you can erase that on wave 7 and just say which is actually terrible.
Yeah. I think Drachir might even be forced to sell one of his flowers.
Oh, he almost certainly selling a flower for a banana bunk here. But I'm not sure if banana bunk
as well, right?
Doomsday's better.
He does sell.
Yeah.
And goes for the Millennium.
I like this.
That does help it quite a bit.
Decent positioning
as
well.
Selling a flower is quite a hit to your economy.
It hurts, for sure. But I don't know that he would have held no send on wave 6 if he didn't add the flower.
Certainly not. And we do see Mole, Snail, Barut. Yeah.
Oh, and the snail is so good against the Millennium, actually.
And one of the brutes is sat on the Millennium as well, so its attack speed is being reduced by 12%.
And it's not fast in the first place, and it's dying.
This is going to be a big leak, even with the flower cell. That is so bad.
Lucy is also going to be leaking. Although Widderson got his gun sniped by the double ranged mercenary send.
Danzz is doing okay.
Yeah, he's holding. He's not covering, but he's holding.
But let's just go over this one more time, because Drachir built a 3rd flower on wave 6, sold it again on wave 7 for a Millennium, and still leaked 93% there? That's just crushing for Drachir. Like, his game is so hard after this.
And that's just the lack of a usable tier 2 or tier 3 in his role. He's pretty top heavy. He has a great looking late game with 3 tier 6s and Kingpins coming in, but this game is hard for him right now. And Kingdanzz is about to start taking off. Most workers in the game.
And the treasure hunt. It's the same work as Lucy, actually. Interesting to start on an angler now, but oh, the deep coiler is being sniped. but it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
that just
It
happens
doesn't matter.
because that
He's
evens
Yeah,
got
it.
enough value for this.
And there's no send, yeah.
Curious to see what I'll add here. Probably the Halo.
Kingdanz's role. Yeah, he could go. He could go Butcher as well, or just Harbinger, or got options, right?
Yeah.
We do have a split send here. Lucy sending.
I
the
think
imps into
it's.
Widderson.
I would go Butcher Steed here. No, he goes for the Harbinger. No, he goes
Drachir
for
does
this.
get the Kingdom.
Yeah.
I think Witter and Kingdanzz are going to see the send and they're going to go straight 11.
Yeah, there is glacial touch though.
Glacial Touch is not too good 11 though.
It's not as good as it is on other ways, but it's still decent added damage.
Yeah. But I mean, they've nerfed it a couple of times now.
They have, yeah.
Hmm.
Right, is this
Widderson's probably going to go
160
for a bit of a leak here.
The Imp Brute, pretty good send against Widderson's board. He has a lot of natural HP there. And now the wave is on the gun. It has no chance to defend itself. 61% there against Widderson.
Oh,
But he
but Dan found a great answer to wave 10 as well with the Sovereign, so we should be feeling alright.
Yeah.
I really suspect they go straight 11.
There's still a full HP coiler, and even though it is pierce into fortified, it's also a coiler. So
Yeah,
King
he's
is
always
covering
winning.
nice and stacking his ankle. Oh, and right as I call his stacking his ankle, the brute kills it.
Alright, there is a one snail send from both King and
58 stack angler build in wave 8, and it's
Amazing.
wave 10 now.
that angler
For
really
sure,
ramps
it's
up
a
quickly now
death
since the
cap.
change. I think the death cap is fine. Like, it's tanky enough on wave 10, it's tanky enough on wave 11.
It's really good 12.
I
It's
think he's
really
just
good.
getting home run here, though, no? It's going to be a
It's
counterattack into...
it's double death cap upgrade here.
well, I think it's just going to be a Siege Ram. Siege Ram's quite good against Kingdom.
Oh, but
Yeah.
he has the kingpin on 122 stacks.
Yeah, but
he's
imagine
fine.
if there was a send here, though. With that Millennium getting killed so quickly, I think the kill
Yeah.
would have leaked really bad.
2 brutes and the kingpin, and he's not in a good shape.
Here's the income send.
Widderson,
from
by the
Lucy.
way, went for one more
with-
of his
Oh.
barrels, but did not find anything.
How much? I didn't get to see how much HP there was on that.
Kingdanzz? Are we going to see a post-income Kraken here, or what is he doing?
Yeah,
Post-income
there's
feature.
big,
What rolled? He went with counter attack. So
Lucy has 2.
Hardened Mudman is pretty good, but Lucy's just never killing that Siege Ram.
oh, and no, a death cap is also being denied. Both the cannon and the death cap.
Maybe Lucy could do like counterattack King upgrades or something like this. I don't know.
What about the glacial touch Millennium? Doesn't it just get sniped?
Lucy
It
does
does
do
do
counterattack
counterattack
enough. Yeah,
pickups.
I think that's a good play.
Oh, because he has sent tanks, it doesn't get sniped.
Yeah, Dan did get a after income ghost knight, I think.
But look how long it takes for Lucy to kill the Siege Ram. She just gets onto the wave as all of her melee units die.
The Millennium is dead. Now it's just the kingpin versus 10 boars.
And I think
Kingdanzz
that
leaks
is
hard.
game.
Lucy
That's-
leaks hard.
Is this just the
Is it
series?
Kia leaks decently. 17 creeps. They do have 8
king attacks.
king attacks. They have no king spell, however. This might be game. I think it's close either way.
It's 17 creeps, or 16, and a hermit against.
Yeah, Hermit
Yeah, this is game.
This...
Is it?
I think they live.
They need a few
But they
more
die
ticks.
13 if they don't
Oh,
die
it's
here.
so
Oh.
close! It's so
Although
close.
Dan and Witter did not push hard.
Oh.
So 13 is perhaps out of reach here.
But they don't have. Oh, Lucy is actually kicking
Fine.
off here.
How is
Well, it's
Lucy on
'cause-
fire?
It's
How is
because
Jules
Dan
giving
went...
them 48% chance? What is this?
Because it's
'cause Dan
13-13
went after
versus
income.
15 Etten.
Yeah.
He's also went after income. So he's down the 80 gold from the round.
Yeah. The post-income send really hurts your power score. But that will stabilize next wave. It's just like a one-wave dip, I think.
Where does the game go from here? Well, it goes into a path leader on 13.
And
Drachir, by the way, suicide pushed.
Okay.
This is an all-in play. He's still pushing right now.
I like it. If you look at what Kingdanzz has on the board, he has Orchid, he has Sovereign with Lifesteal. I think it's a pretty tough order to try and leak him on 13. So Drachir's suicide play is good. King and Widder do not send.
There's the Sovereign, but it goes straight in for the tanking.
Yeah. Now the problem is Drachir couldn't send 4 eyes because of that Coiler. He's gone for a Ghost Knight, which is still good, but he's added a DT, which forces Ghost Knight away from all of his impact damage. Uh-oh.
Oh, there we go with the post-income gun.
Post-income siege ram. Is Widderson going for some post-income shenanigans as well?
What does he get?
And they do make the correct read here. Wow. That's far from Abrasiert with a deserved win. Let's see if Lucy holds.
Many post-income things going on in this finals day today. We had a lot of them earlier as well with No Balls, No Style and Wave 15. Alright, so this 380 Drachir obviously leaking full there with his suicide play, but Kingdanzz is just holding, I think.
That Sovereign just doing exactly what it has to do. Tanking initially.
Lucy leaks as well, so that's all she wrote. And Kingdanzz and Widderson, they are our August Nova Cup champions, winning 3-1 here against the Giga Tryhard. Well played, guys.
Victory.
Big up to Kingdanzz for taking a win with Chaos.
Yeah.
Obviously, the superior role.
As long as it just gets removed from ranked, it'll be fine. So, we didn't really see much action going on until Wave 7, where there's pretty big leaks all around. Kingdanzz holding there is good for his team. Then we saw a bit of action on 10 against Widderson. But Wave 11 is where it really happened with these post-income 400 send against Lucy, 380 against Drachir, both of them leaking hard, barely surviving there on 5% King HP, and Widderson holding against the income and King from Lucy. And there was just enough in it then for them to close the game out on Wave 13. So, we have our champions, Kingdanzz and Widderson. Congratulations. Lucy and Drachir, commiserations. They still made it to the grand final, so a good showing from them this month, but not quite enough. Kingdanzz and Widderson will claim the crown. Well deserved.
Yeah, definitely not a weak showing from Lucy and Drachir.
Oh, definitely not a weak showing. And even this final game here was very, very close, right?
Yeah, I think Widderson made it pretty close.
Yeah, Widderson made it pretty close.
Just Wave 7 doesn't protect his gun to the double range send and gets it sniped. That makes the game much harder.
I think the fact that he destroyed here probably makes it worthwhile, however.
Probably.
Kingdanzz and Widderson. Very nice.
He did just save straight from 3 till 7.
Yeah.
And then again, 7 to 11. Basically, he sent the king up on 1, Snail King up on 3, and he broke 93%, 67%, and 133%.
Yeah, Widderson did his job there. Like, he enabled Kingdanzz very hard. Pretty much destroyed Drachir's game from Wave 7 onwards, and just let Kingdanzz do what he does best, which is snowball and carry into the mid and late game. Very, very nice teamwork there from the Abrasiert duo, and a well-deserved victory, I think, today.